This episode is brought to you by
Intrinsic Design is a residential and commercial building design firm with over 20 years experience working for local architects and builders on various residential and commercial structures throughout Central Texas and beyond. Owned and operated by Michael Washam, you can reach him by phone at 254-913-5753 or by email at intrinsicdesign@gmail.com. That's NTRINSIC design@gmail.com. You can also check them out on Facebook.
They'll talk about anything and to anyone. They're straight out of the streets of Temple, Texas. It's Randomness with Heath and Josh.
All right, we're back. What's going on, Josh? How you doing?
Hello. I am about 2 bad jokes away from fantastic.
Too bad. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Are you awake?
I'm getting there.
I'm saying this because I literally had to wake him up to get on the show. Because what happens is I always send Josh a text earlier in the day and say, hey, 7:40, 7:45, whatever. Hey, because we always jump on before we have our guests, come on and all this stuff. And jokingly, he's like, I'm gonna fall asleep one day, and today was the day. Because
yeah, I even set alarms earlier. I must have snoozed through them. So
yeah, but anyway, we're here. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So, what you been up to, man?
Here lately, I've jumped back on the decluttering train.
Oh Lord!
So what I'm doing is, if something's not worth like at least $50, it's gonna be donated.
No, hey man.
So
all right.
So this weekend you might go home with a Jeep full of stuff. So
I was gonna say, is this because I'm coming into town? You're making room for me to like have a space to lay down and sleep.
That's part of it.
All right, so I've motivated you. I'm gonna have to come see you more often.
That's right. Will you clean your house real quick because company's coming over?
Yeah. Well, I don't do that because my house is always clean because I'm clean.
Not that my house is like dirty. It's just I start projects and I put it down somewhere, and then I start a new project and
put
that down somewhere.
Yeah, and then go. Where did I put this?
Because of my 50 hobbies that I have.
Yeah, I was going to ask you too. How's Duchess the rabbit doing?
Who? Oh yeah, Duchess. Excellent. She's like, I'll come in and she's like sprawled out, like laid out flat, and that's a sign that they're comfortable and
that's good.
Relaxed, and
so she's at home now.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Good. Did you get your pin for out front so you can lay out with the rabbit out front yet, and with so the neighbors can be like, what's going on with this old guy and the rabbit out front?
It's a pin, but it's like in the flower bed, so I don't have space to lay out. But
well, thank God.
But she's got space to run. So
right on. She's gonna eat up your flower bed, or is it already?
No, that would be good because then she'd keep it weeded for me.
Oh, fair enough.
So I'll show it to you when you come over.
Right on. All right. Yeah, we've been busy. Don't get me wrong. Actually, just a few days ago, we redid our whole flower bed, and it was like a 5-hour project. And this is when you're really getting old and out of shape. We weren't even done yet, and I was already sore. Like literally, it was about an hour from being done, and I had to run and go pick up Riker from his driving class. And I lift my first leg to go into the Jeep, and I'm like, oh, I think I pulled my groin. Like what the heck?
Man.
It ended up just being I was sore already. So and I'm still sore. Then we did that back on Saturday or whatever day it was.
And you're still sore?
Oh yeah, and Cody too. We're like, this is ridiculous. But what I did want to talk about real quick, because we're already a few minutes in. We love documentaries, and we recently watched this one that just came out on Netflix. It's called what is it called? Something, The Lost Prophet. Trust. Oh gosh, dang it! I just had it pulled up too, and now I can't remember what it was. Let me pull it up really quick. Okay, it's called "Trust Me, the False Prophet." Now, if anybody knows about Warren Jeffs, he's the FLDS leader that got put in the prison for having sex with all these young women and all this stuff, and FLDS for the fundamentalist some Latter-day Saints. That's what it is. Fundamentalist Latter-day Saints church.
Okay.
Anyway, whenever he was the prophet, right? So they all believe that what he says goes, and he's in prison, so they can't hear from him anymore. So they're waiting for him to get out, or somehow hear for him to go on doing what they're doing. So that means all relationships have stopped, all sex, all marriages, everything is just stopped, right?
Like on hold.
Well, it's literally on hold. Isn't that crazy? It's
So
because
they're not going to move on with their lives. They're just
that's what they're
waiting-
supposed to do.
waiting for
Right?
input.
But what happened on this new documentary is this other guy, and why I can't think of his name right now, all of a sudden all these marriages starting happen to these ladies and whatever, and this guy was a follower of them. So he's like, screw that, I'm going against what we're supposed to do. I'm the prophet. So now he is the prophet, and now he's got all these women that are following him. It's nuts how brainwashed these people are. It is nuts. They are just like, I don't remember how many wives it was. It was like it might have been 20 something, and anywhere from like 12 years old to 60 years old. The majority of them are very young, and some of them are below, they're like under 18, like 12, 13 or whatever. Long story short, if you know a little bit about that whole deal, basically he's doing all this just so he can have sex with these young girls. That's all it is. It's all a rouge. That's all it is, which is crazy to me. Like, how obsessed are you with sex and sex with children that you make up a life and brainwash people in order to do that and think you're not going to get caught at some point?
Yeah.
Everybody does,
There's some
right?
sick
Pretty
people
much.
out there.
And it's just, man, it's hard to watch, but it's like, it's like a lot of people say, what's the cliche? It's like, you got to look back at a car wreck.
Right.
You always look. It's that you're like, you can't believe these people are doing this. What is wrong with these people? But then you start going, that's what they know. That's all they know. They were born into this. They think this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Whatever, and they can't get past it. And he's got them brainwashed so much that when the cops come around, they're screaming at the cops that they're bad people and all this stuff. Yeah, it's nuts. So I recommend that. Trust me, The False Prophet. Go watch it. It's nuts. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was one of the better ones. I know I've talked about the other ones before, but Don't F with Cats. You must watch that. Don't
I had
F with
seen
Cats.
something briefly.
Dude,
what is it? Literally
nuts.
about cats?
In the beginning. And actually, the first scene is very hard to watch. But after you get past that, it's just like what the internet and people on the internet can do is mind-blowing. And then the other one, go ahead.
Oh, using photos, they can figure out where people live?
Okay. Yeah, but I don't want to give it away too much. It's one scene in a room with nothing on the walls and a bed. And these
so internet detectives kind of thing.
It is just because of what's in the sounds and everything.
Yeah.
It's so nuts. And then the other one that I always tell people to is Abducted in Plain Sight. That one is nuts. That one is that's the only one I say it all the time. That Cody and she looks at me. I pause the TV. She looks at me, and I look at her with our mouths wide open, like, you have got to. This can't be real. This can't be real. These people cannot be this gullible. They cannot be this ignorant, and they are. Anyway, so go watch those. I'm serious. It's nuts. And if you do, go hit us up and tell us what you think about it. But anyway, so. All right, so let's jump into it. It's episode 149. We're one away from 150, dude.
Hey, that's a big number.
Yeah, that's a big number. Over 3 years now, and man, I don't even want to think about 150. I don't even know what we're doing for it, and it's next week. So we'll figure it out. We'll do it live.
3 times our age.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, all right. So let's jump in real quick. So. Let's see, he's a photographer and paranormal researcher, and I just recently met him. John Montelongo. Did I say that right, John?
Yeah, you did. Kind of
all right, sweet.
Kind of close.
How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing good. That's why I just stick with John, because that last name kind of gets everybody like, how do I say this? And am I saying it right?
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Montelego.
Yeah, a lot of people say it like that too. So I'm just like, it's just
give us the correct pronunciation.
Oh, it's just Montelongo.
There you go.
Or if you want to be straight up Spanish, just Montelongo.
All right.
Okay, so it's a Hispanic name. Okay,
Yeah.
Montelongo.
I just
Okay, all right.
recently just did my what's it called, the genealogy blood test work, whatever it was. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, kind of our suspicion was kind of like we were from the Spain area, which it shows that we are, and then we kind of came into Mexico, and you know what they did, and then took over that area, and then I guess our family migrated up a little bit north Mexico, and we were just in Mexico, and then it turned into Texas while our family was still here. So
Okay.
All right.
Oh, now that you've explained that, explain John John.
my mom was a big John Kennedy fan, so it
Oh,
just became John John. So,
is that your legal name, John
no,
John?
my legal name is Juan, but
Oh, okay. All right.
I
Okay.
don't like
So
that.
not Juan.
Yeah, not Juan. That would be my
Not one, not one, but one.
yeah,
Juan
Yeah,
Juan.
lots of goofy jokes there with that. Okay, so John John.
That's
it's
what
funny
Heath
'cause-
would probably call you.
Yeah, one. 2-1. But John John is funny. It makes me laugh because there's a haircut that a lot of white kids used to get in the 80s, and they called it the John John haircut, and it was mostly girls, and it was like the bowl cut, which is now the Edgar of all. I don't know if you know what the Edgar is.
yeah.
Because a lot of the kids get the bowl cut, and but they called it the John John back in the day. So that's what always makes me think about when
No,
I
I
see
did
your
not know
name
that.
go by. I'll have to send you some John John pictures.
Yeah, there was a John John. What in the world?
But let's get a little bit of your background, because I know you're not from Texas, and then you somehow end up in Little River Academy, right? So explain that.
That's kind of a long story. So I was born in West Texas in Plainview, Texas.
Okay.
And we stayed in Texas for a while. Then we kind of went from New Mexico to Arizona, and then I guess my mom's sisters were already in Oregon, so she just followed me and took off over there. And I think I stayed over there until like I was I think I want to say a sophomore in high school. And then my dad had caught word that his mom was dying, and so he was like, "Hey, I want to move back to Texas so I can be with her." So we came all the way back and went to Rockdale, and I stayed there for the rest of like my high school year, and then was kind of there for a couple of more years, and then I found myself in like Taylor and Round Rock and Austin, and then my parents moved out this way, so I was like, you know what, why not? So like, I came to Little River, so I've been here ever since. But yeah,
All right.
You just don't hear about a lot of people moving to Little River Academy.
yeah, I kind of like the small town feels. It's
Sure.
Yeah, and then now it's just beginning to be like Hutto and Pflugerville all connected together. I'm like, oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around.
I recently went to Taylor, and I'm like, this is a nice little town.
Yeah,
But I'm sure that's
smaller back then. It was even smaller.
Yeah.
So
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just dig in. I mean, what sparked your interest in paranormal stuff, and how did it evolve into what you're doing now with it?
Okay, so it's a little bit complicated because both of my parents on the east side, it goes down generations from them. So from us, it was more of a curandero, meaning like healers, the Spanish healers, and they would use spells and curses and magic and stuff like that to heal people or whatever it may be. So that was kind of what our families were known for. And then back then, it was kind of like my dad's family was the people who were more of like the healers, like they called them witches, brujas, so that's what they called them back then in the older times. And then my mom's side were the people that they hired to go after those witches and stuff like that because they were actually putting curses on people. So somehow in between there, our families got together, and then pretty much I'm the product of all that. So like, but then like, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You're good.
So growing up, I was in each house that we lived in was always haunted. There was always something going on. There was always something that was knocking on doors, seeing shadow figures. So I actually grew up thinking that was normal, because that's just who we were. I guess the Addams family, but it was just something that didn't know until later on. Like now that I've been involved with it so much, it's not the houses that we were living in. It was mostly us that it was attracted to, So once I got more involved in it and everything like that, I found a team when I came to Temple because I did a lot of this on my own, and I helped my dad with like cleansings and stuff like that, and praying over people and going to people's houses and getting rid of things that they don't want in their house. So I kind of did that with my dad, and then when I came over here to Temple, I was like, you know what, I kind of just want to join a team, and I joined a team. Was with him for a couple of years, and then I took on a case that kind of just turned everything around. And by the time I came back, I was just, you know what, this I need to evolve into something else. And I kind of felt like that team that I was with back then was not ready for that initially. So I just went ahead and created Dark Explorers, and I was alone, because you talk to a lot of paranormal investigators like, oh, don't do this on your own, don't do that by yourself. I did all of that by myself for at least 15, 20 years or something like that, just doing things, just uh, investigations, research, cleansing the houses. I don't want to say exorcism, because exorcisms and minor rites are totally different type of things, so I did play a role in a lot of that stuff too. And I was actually trying to get into becoming a priest and stuff like that. So I actually looked into that. So, I was really, really, really invested. And if I ever get the opportunity, I'll probably still try to take that, but that was kind of
Wow.
my calling, and that's how everything kind of developed. Then I met
Okay.
my wife, and and she jumped on board with me as well. And in the first year that we were together, we did like 150 something cases in 1 year. And it really just took off, and it just seemed like there was one case after another case after another case. And sometimes we drove all
Wow.
Houston, and we had like 2 or 3 cases or 4 cases in one weekend. And they got mad at me because I'm the very type who's just like, we're gonna hit the ground running, we're gonna go and take all this. We're gonna go to Houston and just do as many as we can. And they weren't about that life really. Most of my team, so but we calmed
Okay.
down a little bit. So we take on a lot of residential cases, but it's a little bit slower now.
Okay. Well, go back though. You originally said you had a team there in Temple, and they weren't ready to move on to whatever. So what were you doing with them, and what was it that you wanted to do without them that they weren't ready for?
So with them, I was kind of just learning the team concept, just knowing what it feels like to have 5 other people who are kind of like in the same book as you, the same chapter as you, seeing the same crazy stuff, just being around the same craziness of all that stuff. So uh, I'm trying to watch my words here. So like,
You're good.
as I got older and started to experience some things a little bit more, when I first joined them, it was kind of like I didn't have faith very much, because there was a lot of stuff that happened in my childhood that just kind of just made me not really want to grasp that faith, really hard. But then as I matured and started to understand a lot more things, the faith really kicked in a lot harder. So then when I say that I needed to evolve, meaning like for almost a year up until this case happened, I had like a vision of me walking down a road, and it always split off. And I always seen it for a year. And then the team manager at the time called me up and was like, hey, there's another guy in College Station who is needing some help for a family that's in Wisconsin, and they're dealing with a demonic case, and they're dealing with this. And so she gave me the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I'll go help them. And took off, and on the way down there, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. Um, I don't want to say that I want to say I'll say that I have abilities, but I'm not going to say that I'm a psychic. It's two different things, and I don't like to put myself out there as one as that. But the abilities that I have, I can feel things, see things, and all this other stuff in a lower vibrational type of area. So the guy that I was with at the time, he's driving up there, and as we're getting closer, I start picking up already on what's going on at this house, at this location, and I'm just getting bad vibes. And then we make our last stop at the hotel, and we start talking about what's going to happen. And then I feel this weird presence come into the room, and as it gives me like a little, I stand up, just kind of like, oh, there's something that's negative that came into the room. The guy across from me, who's who's the case manager for this case, he goes, oh, my guardian angel just walked in. And I'm like, I was like, okay. And like at the time, I messaged my girlfriend and I was like, dude, I literally feel like I'm getting set up for something. Like it doesn't even feel right. It feels like I'm gonna go around this alleyway and there's gonna be like 15 people there ready to jump me. I just have that weird feeling like that's gonna happen. And she was like, "Don't
What?
worry about it. You know, it's you're meant to be there. All this other stuff." So I was like, "Okay." So with one eye open, and yeah, the next morning we take off, and I'm expecting it to be in town, but no, it's in Wisconsin, way up in the mountains. And at that time, it was
Of course.
yeah, of course it had to be, a horror movie. But as we're getting up, I mean, and at that time it was snowing. So like as we're getting up there, and by the time we get off, the snow was probably up to my mid chest. You know, it was super deep, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh! And I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen if I need to leave? It's like,
Yeah, right.
walk
How am
out
I
the
going to
door.
get out of here?
I just can't get out of here. So we get off, and as soon as we knock on the door, they let us in, and it's literally a whole family just lined up, and they have like black circles in their eyes. You can tell that they have not slept. You can tell that there's something going on with them. They didn't even smile. It was just stone cold. So, anyways, fast forward a little bit. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of details because we were there for almost about 2 weeks. So there's a lot of stuff that happened.
Oh my God.
Um, the last thing that happened was pretty much I started praying over the owners and stuff like that. And the last one, whatever was on her was so angry at me that I felt that transition of energy coming more harder than usual. So then I kind of just I finish what I need to finish, and then I walk out. And as I'm walking out, I have this thing with trees. You know, you can't see my tattoo, but somewhere around there, somewhere around there. But I have this thing with trees to where I go and I grab it and I just kind of it's almost like a grounding, but I just put it with I use trees instead. You know, so I messaged my girlfriend at the time and I'm like, hey, um, I need something, but I don't know what to do. She's like, find a tree, and I'm looking around, and like there's a tree way in the hell out there, and I'm like, dang it, man! And I'm in shorts. I never wear pants, by the way. I'm in shorts. I'm in my Adidas shoes, and I'm like looking down this little forest, and I'm like, oh, there's a tree right over there, and the snow is this deep. And I was like, oh well, I just might as well hike it. So I just hiked it over there, did my thing, did a prayer, and then came back around. And I was like, you know what? I still need to get rid of this. And so I decided to kind of walk up the mountain a little bit further, and I follow this trail. And as soon as I hit the trail, there's that road and that split that I have been seeing for almost a year. Like it is identical split, the road and then the split. And to me, that was a sign of God telling me, hey, either you're going to work with me or you're not. It's about time you decide because you have been doing this for so long, but you don't have a direction. You need a direction here. And at that time, I kind of took that as okay. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to work with you. So I did that. I came back, and when I came back, it was like I didn't tell anybody what happened or what was going on or what I seen for the entire year. But when I came back, it was kind of like their attitude toward me was completely different now because I think the energetic change has changed. So like for
Wow.
me, I was thinking, well, I need to put my beliefs and what my faith is and what this is now into
Right.
completely different because us going in there and cleansing a house and then me doing a prayer and then somebody else doing the Catholic prayer and somebody else behind me who believes in Wiccan, they're doing the prayer after them and then somebody else who believes
Uh,
ism is going to be right after them. And so it's like, what are we accomplishing here? It's like we're canceling out on each other, but doing all this other stuff. So for me, I was just kind of like, I can't do that. I need
okay.
space and I need to do it this way. So now every time, every time that somebody says, hey, I want to be part of the team. And I'm like, well, listen, we're not a regular paranormal team. We actually go out and confront whatever's in that house or whatever's on the land. We don't sit there and just try to, gather evidence. Yeah, we do have our cameras, we do have our recorders and all that other stuff. And it's cool to hear and it's cool to see if we ever capture anything.
Right.
But our sole purpose is to actually help out those families who believe that they are crazy, whose husband and wife don't see eye to eye anymore because the husband's like, I
Right.
don't believe you. Meanwhile, the wife is getting bruises and scratches, and the children are
Yeah. Yeah.
nightmares and stuff like that. So we go in there and try to figure out what's really going on. and keep it faith based in what we believe in, So, but we also have respect for what those family believed in, So we just don't go in there and try to say, hey, here's the Bible, and just not it to happen. We don't do that. We actually have to listen to what's going on so we can able to figure out what is actually going on in the house. And a lot of times too, it's actually just people who, I'm 46, so like back in our age group in middle school and high school, where I grew up, if you brought up like, oh, I see ghosts and all this other stuff, shoot, it's into the counselor's office. Your parents want to get called in because this person needs to go in a crazy house. So it wasn't really as popular like it is now, So,
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit, because like what you're saying, okay, this is going way different than what I thought it was going to go. So, and it's actually good, because this is stuff that, that I've never talked about. I've never really, been serious about or whatever. But when you say like something comes over you and you feel something, and what, can you explain that feeling? Like,
so like I do have abilities, so I'm able to sense. And the weird thing was with me is like the lower vibrational stuff is kind of like more of the demonic, more of the evil type of thing. So I kind of have a sense with those a lot easier. So if there was like a human spirit right next to me, I wouldn't know for shit. I don't know. But if something, evil or whatever it is in or around, like my senses will pop up right away, and I kind of have a reading for that, But
when you say senses though, what, like, I'm just trying to.
So like it's almost like a weird. Let me see here, like a burst of energy, So like
okay,
like zoomies or something like that. But like I get them, and right away I get triggered real quickly, and I kind of want to confront whatever's going on. So like with me,
like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah. So like it communicates with me in that type of way.
Okay.
So I can actually sit down and have like I'm going to show you my books. I really don't show it to people, but I usually have a book like this that has nothing but cases in it, and maybe the lettering is too white, but like I have a whole bunch of stuff here, from cases, and I'll sit down with a little bitty light. I hate working with lights. If I'm going to investigate something, it's going to be completely dark. I don't want no lights in there. So like I'll sit down in the middle of the room or a basement or wherever it is, and I'll just sit there and I'll just let it come speak to me, and I'm writing down information, and as I'm going, it's talking to me, I'm answering questions back and all this other stuff. So I'm just getting there. So that's how I kind of pick up on things. But then, at the end of our investigation, what I do is get the family together, put them on the table or put them in the living room, and I tell them, this is what I picked up, and you can tell me if it's bullshit. You can tell me that's not true. You can tell me whatever it is, but this is what is speaking to me. This is what I'm picking up, So, and I have I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have like a good 90%, 95%, that I'm correct on each time that I do a case, So I strongly believe in what I do and what my wife does too, because she does the same exact thing as me, but she doesn't like to do interviews.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But so, and you've mentioned the faith part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What, I mean, are you okay? And
I'd like to know, what were you raised in a religion?
This is where I was going.
I was raised Catholic.
Okay. Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you consider yourself Christian?
Yeah, I'm more Christian now, but it's like one of those, I don't go to church every day type of thing, So I always, we gone to a couple of churches here in Temple, just to fill it out. But I don't know. Maybe it's myself or my wife, and now that my 1-year-old too, she gets very anxious around a lot of people, and so do I. And I'm just we'll just sit there, and I can't help but pick up whatever somebody's going through or whatever it is, and I'm just like.
So I'm just gonna say, as a Christian myself, I attest demons are real. So I know what you speak of. So
so and with that, it's always like a firm belief in that, and I'm starting to figure out more as I'm starting to learn more, because your knowledge of the Bible and your knowledge of God and everything like that continues and always continues. You're always growing, and you're always trying to figure out, oh, well, maybe that wasn't true of what I read. That is true of what I read, and what am I doing now? And and I kind of fall back to like the interview that you did with the Skellingtons, because like they were getting hate because of what their shop was, but
Right.
I get a lot of hate because of what I do. Even though I tell people like, "Hey, I'm Christian and I do everything that I do with prayers. I do everything with faith." They're like, "No, you're still the devil. You're still worshiping the devil."
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
get up.
that's closed mind people. That's just closed mind people.
Yeah.
So
But
the reason I disappeared is because I grabbed this book.
Mhm.
It's the field manual for spiritual combat. The
Mhm.
thing is, I haven't opened it yet
Oh no.
because I don't feel like I'm spiritually prepared
Yeah.
to even address
Yeah.
what this might be telling me or
Mhm.
the knowledge that I might get from it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm strong enough to confront
Yeah.
demons or
You're not.
the devil. So
You're,
this thing's
you
still
got
wrapped
this.
up.
You got this. You got
you're,
this.
But the thing is, with this kind of knowledge,
Mhm.
the devil knows you're stronger.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful.
Very
So,
cool.
Okay, well, leading into that, like you were talking about, I can't remember exactly what you said, but there was something, a presence that was very mad at you,
Mhm.
and whatever. Like, how do you? I don't even know how to ask that question.
How do
Like,
I face it?
how do you know? And then then how do you fix it?
Um, just growing up and being around all of that energy with the haunting of what I thought was the haunting of every single house that we lived in was haunted, and it was more of us kind of thing. You know, being around that type of energy just kind of I started to know signatures. I started to know what type of energy was curious, what type of energy was just passing through. Even though back then I didn't have the verbiage to really understand, like, oh, that's just a stone tape theory type of thing. Maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just I forgot the word to it, but maybe it's just a residual. Maybe it's just residual haunting. Maybe it's something else on the ground. Maybe there's this. So I didn't have all of that verbiage now. But now I kind of understand. Okay, this thing doesn't like me when I do certain things. So certain things would be me just coming in, because a lot of the times the way I test people too is I'll bring in a crucifix in my pocket or whatever it is and don't tell nobody. But if I'm already getting a reaction to something that they don't even know about, then I'm like, okay, that's red flag number one. Red flag number two would be something else that I would do, and it's mostly religious stuff that I'm doing that they don't even know that I'm doing. But I'm actually getting reactions from them, and I'm kind of like, okay, I got you. But the moment that I sense that it's ready, because have you ever been in a high school fight or a junior high fight? You know that feeling that you're gonna get punched. That's how it kind of feels, because like once you get that
Okay,
feeling, you're like, okay, I know what's happening. I'm not gonna get sucker punched, so I'm gonna go first. And I guess the way,
anticipation.
yeah, there you go. And I guess the way that I just face it is just I really don't have a fear of it. I mean, I have been through a lot of it. I have seen a lot of
Right.
it's just like I know you ain't gonna be able to toss me because I'm 200 something pounds. But it's just my faith alone that I just know that you just don't have that authority. I can put the line in the sand here, in which that case that I was talking about, I legitimately did that. I kind of skipped over that part, but if you want me to get onto it, like,
Well, I don't want to make this totally the whole thing about this because there are a couple other things we want to get to.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
do now that we're talking about, I've got more questions. So,
that's
so
how this works.
two for sure. One is, have you ever been physically hurt?
yes, but not by any entity.
Just by doing something and it happened while you
No,
were
no. So there was this person that I used to film with a long time ago, and I caught him faking evidence, and
uh
he did not like that I called him out on it. And this would be the first time that my brother was with me, because he's never been, with us while we're doing investigations or filming or anything like that. And we were in Yorktown at this time, and caught him doing that, and he faked being possessed so he can actually fight one of us, and we were all fist fighting there, and we had to strangle him and put him down on the ground and hold him down there, and then when he came to, he was like, "Oh, the demons were telling me to kill you guys," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, right, okay. Um, Now,
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I had a gun pull on me as well, and in Houston,
Wow.
from a guy who said that he had demons in his house, and he was just not mentally all there, and just sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, sir, there's not this here. We have all this evidence is going on, and there's nothing really going on. And I think it's really coming from you, that you think that there's something here, and he was just like, nope,
Okay.
nope, and
That's a good question too. Is like, how do you know that the person is just not crazy and there's actually something happening there?
yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it's based on all the experience. Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 28, maybe 30 years almost. So I've come to see how people react, how people genuinely are when they are haunted, when they're actually authentically scared of something in their homes or whatever. Or maybe it's just like, oh yeah, well I got something in my home, but did you guys bring your cameras because I want to make sure that you record all of this. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you're just trying to be a TikTok star or whatever it is. So right away you can kind of see how people's reactions are, but but when actually people really need help mentally, we will sit there and talk to them, and most of the time they just want to talk to somebody, because maybe their family members don't want to talk to them because they think they're crazy, or maybe they need to go do this, and maybe they need to go do somebody else that's more professional. But we've sat there for hours and just talked when either if they've been experiencing this and they were a kid and now they're 46, but they dived into alcohol and drugs because they didn't know how to calm down those feelings, or hearing those voices in their head. But now somebody's there to talk to them about it, and they're just kind of like, that's all I needed. We're just here. Okay, we'll talk, and then this is how you're going to deal with it. But you have to do this in order for you to start dealing with it. So but if they actually need
I'm
professional
sure.
help, you do tell them you need to go seek help.
Yeah. Well, everybody else thought they were crazy and wouldn't talk to them. You actually did. Therefore, it helped them. They just really needed someone to talk to. I said I had two more questions, but I have two more.
Okay.
And then we'll move on. So, first of all, is one I have on my list is that, have you ever had to walk away from something because it was too much or crossed the line somehow?
No, I've never walked away from a case. Never ever walked away. For me, because I think it's very crucial, and I firmly believe that we get cases because they're sent to us by a higher power, so to speak. So I'm only there because I was needed to be there. Maybe there's 15 other paranormal teams in our city or whatever it is, but for some reason that case came to us. No matter how many times they called that other team, they called this other team 15 times. Nobody answered the phone. Nobody's answering messages. But hey, you picked up. I'm like, yeah, we always pick up, but still. But I just kind of firmly believe that once we get a case, it's firmly for us, and we stick to it. And I still talk to clients, 10 years ago when I got their cases, I still check up on them. They still message me every once in a while, so I kind of create like a little bond with them to let them know that, hey, you're not forgotten. You were not there for our evidence. We were there to actually help you, so that's one thing that we do. But I've never walked away from cases at all.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here's the question that I really wanted to ask you. So, my nephew, when he was very young, 3 to 5, maybe a little bit even older, when he would go to my parents' house, he would come back and say, "Hey, where's the blue man?" And he was asking about this blue man, and like my mom's like, "What the heck?" So, have you ever heard kids like
Oh yeah,
say anything about stuff like that, particularly a blue person, because that's what he would always ask about.
Not the blue person, but we'll get kids who say that they've seen a hat man, which is typically what everybody sees. Is the guy in the hat with like almost like the old school gangster hats,
brim hat.
Yeah, the brim hats. Every once and usually, yeah, and usually those shadow guys have like a simple name like Bob or Robert or just Tom.
Okay.
I think I can name like 15 shadow guys who are like named Tom.
Okay.
I mean, I always believe in the kids. I always listen to them because they don't know how to lie. They
right.
And you can see their drawings where they're drawing stuff or whatever it is. I mean, you can kind of always tell what's going on with the kids.
Okay. He was young and he asked about it, many times. So it wasn't like it was a one-time thing or whatever. And it comes up a lot of times when there's family gatherings. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask you about, see what you think about the old blue man hanging out. But,
No, you're good.
I mean, and I don't know this for sure, but I think the house that my parents lived in, an older man passed away. My mom's gonna be screaming at this while she's listening right now and say, "No, that's wrong." But that passed away. It was a newer home at the time, and he passed away.
Mhm.
And everybody's like, "Oh, it must be him. It must be him." The guy that passed away.
Yeah, she can give us the story in the comments. So
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd ask you that. But before we move on, though, tell everybody where they can go if they want to check out your paranormal stuff.
So it's both the same name on YouTube and also on Facebook. It's Dark Explorers Paranormal.
Okay. All right.
Check it out.
who are you gonna call?
Dark Explorers.
Dark.
Or John John, whatever you want.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you're sued. Anyway, so at Temple Smiles Family Dentistry, we treat every patient like family. From kids to grandparents, our team makes sure everyone feels comfortable, cared for, and right at home. A Temple native with over 20 years of experience, Dr. Kirsten Gosney will listen to your concerns and provide compassionate, individualized care because your family smiles deserve the very best. Come see Dr. Gosney at 2302 South 37th Street in Temple, Texas, or learn more at templesmilesfamilydentistry.com. That's templesmilesfamilydentistry.com, or call them at 254-773-1970. Temple Smiles Family Dentistry, where healthy smiles begin. You're also artistic, and you're into a lot of stuff. So, but you had told me about John John's photos, and that kind of focuses on like noir, black and white, and whatnot. And I'm assuming that kind of pulls from what you do with the paranormal stuff. Is that's why you're interested in that?
Yeah, I mean, recently, yes, because like as a photographer, I was trying to find my style. So like I've been doing photography for now almost 26 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, and it all stemmed from like looking at the National Geographic magazine when I was in middle school and looking at all those photos, and I was like, oh, I want to be a photographer too, and could never really afford one. And I once I did get my camera, it was just like landscapes, flowers, live concerts, and just really trying to take pictures of anything and everything under the sun. But like, I don't know, once I started getting into what I really want to do with my photography was not shoot weddings, was not shooting family portraits or anything of that stuff. That wasn't me. And I always, and in the early days, I always had that line like Ace Ventura where he says, "I don't do humans." so like,
right on.
That was kind of like my little motto thing. And then, I was just, I really fell in love with black and white and went to school to learn the 35 millimeter camera just because, I mean, I'm self-taught, but I really needed to know the 35 millimeter darkroom and all this other stuff to it. So, but what I took out of there was just more of the understanding of how to use light and shadow, especially natural light and shadow. So I kind of just based my work off of just natural lighting. So I still kept my 35, but I went into digital, and then I use a Polaroid now as well. But combining that supernatural aspect of things into what I'm doing now, it kind of took a lot of work because it was kind of like, okay, I don't want to be too much into the paranormal of it, because it's super hard to even just go and try to capture, paranormal photos, which I do have photos with the Polaroid. But
that was going to be my next question. Have you ever caught something paranormal on purpose? But have you also ever caught it on accident?
So there's been twice where I've called it out, and I've caught it on my Polaroid. Everything that I have is Polaroid except for one photo, and that one photo was like in the back road going towards Hearn, and I just seen this old building. I went to it, and for some reason or other, what made me knock on the door 3 times, I don't know, but I went to the front of the door, I knocked on it 3 times, I went around the back, knocked on it 3 times, came to the front of the yard, and I was like, hey, if anybody's here, come take a picture. And I said 1, 2, 3, and then I caught an image like right on the window, just kind of like it's peeking out at me. So that's the only digital one that I have. The other ones are all Polaroids, and one of those are just accidents, but two of those are actually me doing the same thing. If you're here, come and take a picture. And what I do is like I take 3 pictures, simultaneously, 1, 2, 3, so that way you can kind of see the difference. Like here's the first one, the second one, and the third one. It's all right there, so you can kind of see a timeline. But with the one that I did, it was in Houston as well. Houston gets a lot of crazy stuff. In Houston, there was like a little mirror on the side, and I was trying to aim it the Polaroid where the flash wasn't so much on the mirror, but on the wall, so you can actually get the mirror as well. And I said, hey, if you're here, you need to come and reveal yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I said, 1, 2, 3, and took the picture, and it was like a small little, looked like a black dust particle about this big, and it had 2 white eyes just staring at me, in the mirror. And I'm like, look at this thing. I'll have to send it to you. I'll have to send it so you can see
I was
it.
gonna say, do you have this stuff online posted somewhere where people can see it?
Yeah, I have it online somewhere. I have it somewhere. I know that, but I can send it to you.
Oh.
And then the other one was here in Temple, and it's just in the family's bedroom, and I'm taking a picture of the same thing in the mirror. I said to come forward, and I took 3 photos of this one. First one is light, and then you can see like a shadow come into the second one, and then the third one is all black, and there's nothing else there. So
okay. Do you your photography? Do you do that just for yourself, or do you sell it, or what do you?
So I kind of consider myself more of like a showcase or gallery type of.
Okay.
So I try to put all my work into galleries, into photo galleries and stuff like that. Every once in a while, if I can find a good pop-up show that if I have time for, then I'm gonna jump in it. And that's how I get my stuff, purchased and buy. Most of the time, I'm trying to get published or.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Podcast.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead, Josh.
Real quick. So a couple weeks ago at Neighbors on 7th, the crew with the hearses came into town from Waco, and we took this photo together. Give me your take on this.
Are you talking about the orange spot on the left?
The white on the side.
No, on the side, on the left side.
Oh, okay. The like the edge.
Yeah, because look in this photo.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, who's that?
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
That would be like a normal looking photo, but what's up with the white?
I would say it looks like there's somebody like having.
I don't know, because like
there's not somebody who took a.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm like something's going on in that photo.
There's a lot of people get angry with me too because I'm like I said I'm a professional photographer, so they'll send me like photos of what do you think about this and blah blah blah, and I'll sit there and I'll zoom in and zoom out and all this other stuff, and I'm like, look, I work with natural lighting, so I can kind of tell you how the light bounces off of stuff. So like for me, for you want to take a look at that photo, I know Robert has like little shiny buttons on his jean jacket. See the reflections that are coming off of it or anybody. And if that is reflections coming off, then it's man-made. But if there's no reflections or no shadows, maybe there's something more supernatural there than.
It wouldn't surprise me if some demons were following old Rob Brandenburg around.
We actually
riding in these hearses, man.
we actually did an investigation with him, and
with Rob,
yeah, and over the speaker you could say "Evil Rob." It goes like, "I'm calling you evil."
No, Rob loves that stuff. He's a great dude. He loves all that stuff. All right. But moving along here, because just for time's sake and whatnot, you also do this artist to artist thing, and I'm assuming maybe that's sharing art between artists, or is that helping artists, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I started this probably about 15, 17 years ago. I was working in Austin as well, doing art show production. Came over here to Temple, and they really didn't have anything like that, so I just kind of made my own company, and pretty much, I started doing First Fridays. This was like 17 years ago, and probably I think I was one of the first ones on First Friday to actually start it. But the thing was that I had so much knowledge just from the art show production and getting artists ready to be featured and getting them to know the business side of things, that when artists started to come toward, to book with me, I would actually sit there and talk to them about, hey, you need to think about this, as a business, and as opposed to this way, you need to promote yourself in a certain way. So in a way, it kind of made its name for itself. So it's like an artist to artist. I'm helping out another artist, either showcasing, giving them, advice as far as how to become a business, how to become more professional. Because a lot of artists, most of us are just kind of just like laid back and don't want to talk to you, and that's my art, and I'm going to stand over here. But it's the people, that really want to talk to you about your work. Go up there and talk to them about it. Give them the story that they want, so that way you can sell it. Like with photos, I have so much story to it that they're actually buying the story. They're just not buying the photo. They're buying. Oh, he was in your town when he took this photo. What happened in your town? There was ghosts and everything like that. Blah blah blah. So like they just want to buy that part. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what that is.
Okay, how do you, where can we find that online?
That's on Facebook as Artist to Artist Showcase, and it's artist
number two.
Yeah, Artist Showcase.
Okay, right on.
For a big event coming in September. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. Do you know our buddy Stephen King? I know that sounds crazy because it's Stephen King that's there in Temple.
I've known Stephen for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we grew up with Stephen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I've known Stephen since 4th grade.
Oh, geez, wow. Now, there's a piece behind me, like right there, that little piece. That's something that we're collabing on right now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't finished it yet. So, Stephen, if you're listening, I'm sorry it's been taking so long.
I don't know if Steve listens too much, but his wife does. So hi, Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney.
Shout out. So you also have a clothing line called Dirty Monkey. What? Yeah. Okay, dude. What? Next thing we know, you're going to be like making toilets. I mean, you're doing everything here. What?
He's got a car wash on 31st Street.
So tell us about Dirty Monkey. I did go look at Dirty Monkey a little bit.
Yeah, so Dirty Monkey was probably about 12, 13 years ago as well. And originally it was supposed to be like a skateboard brand, so back then, I was taking photos of just skateboarders in Temple, and I did a whole bunch of stuff for them. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to create something. So I created Dirty Monkey. But the thing that took off on it was the women's clothing line. So like I had a friend who was just like, hey, I know it's hot, it's in the summer, but can you make me like a muscle shirt or something? Oh, that's nice. That's nice right there.
Yeah.
She was like, can you make me like a muscle shirt or something for women? And I was like, yeah, sure, I can try to make you one. Went ahead and made it, and the next thing you know, it took off from the women's point of view. We kind of left the whole other skate brand behind. I'm like, oh no, this is not the direction I wanted to go in, but it's sold. So I was like, you know what, I gotta make some money. So then I went ahead and did it, and then it just kind of fell off. And then recently I just like, I'm working from home, so why not? So I kind of just started redoing it again. So
why Dirty Monkey? Where'd the name come from?
It's just playful and kind of dirty at the same time. It's almost
okay. That's fair.
Then kind of sexual hidden right there. So
I saw the logo. I like the design. I'm like, I'd wear one of those.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what drives you to do all of this stuff?
Just creativity. That's all it is.
Okay.
Because I can't just sit around because it drives me crazy. So I constantly have to do something, create something, plan something out, because I like to plan events. So of course that Artist Showcase allows me to create events. Then I'm creating flyers, creating flyers for then the whole t-shirt thing. I'm allowing my creativity to do designs and all that other stuff. And then the photographs is just me creating images that I see the world as too. So it's like a whole lot of stuff that just kind of go into play. But if it was not that, man, I would just be sitting there like, what do I do in my life?
Well, I was gonna ask, in quotes, have you ever had a normal job, or have you always just been entrepreneurial and do what you're doing?
Tried
paranormal jobs.
I cannot do them.
Okay, that's fair.
It drives me crazy because, like, if I know I can do a job a certain way and do it faster and quicker, then I'll allow me to do it. But if somebody says, no, you can't do it that way, I'm like, what? Okay. I'm not putting my notice. They're like, you just started. I'm like, well, sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you too, and I meant to ask it earlier. What do you tell people that don't believe in what you do as far as the paranormal stuff?
Come along.
They're just like, you're full of crap. What do you tell them?
Just come along.
Come with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Check
mean,
it out.
there's always going to be somebody who's just like, oh, I don't believe in that, and I don't believe in this, and I don't believe. That's totally fine. That's up to you how you perceive the world. But to
Yeah.
the people that
I,
to the people that the cases that we take, they are hardcore. Like, this is happening to me, So I can't just
right.
go to their home and be like, I don't believe in anything you say. It doesn't work like that. You have to show them respect and show them respect in their home and listen to what
Yeah.
they have to say, because I mean, hell, there's aliens now, right? So,
Right. Well, and to just go along with what you said, I'm kind of one of those people where I don't just say I don't believe in it. I just got to experience it myself, and I haven't yet.
yeah,
It's more along that
a
line.
lot of people
But
haven't.
you brought up. Go ahead.
No, I said a lot of people haven't. For some reason, they
Yeah.
just haven't hit that. Maybe you're not looking for it or whatever it is, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you brought up the alien thing, and I know you've got an alien story, right? So let's hear it.
oh, okay. So this happened, and I literally had looked this up too. So it happened. Actually, this year. So April 21st. No, it was actually last year. So
I was gonna say that hadn't been here yet.
yeah. So my bad. This was last year. But the whole weird story was like, I used to go. Well, I still do when I try to when I get some time. But I used to go jogging at night. It just seemed to be like nobody's out there, and I can just walk and talk and just listen to music and just do my jogging. Was out there, and then around 9:28, I have it right here in my little notes. Around 9:28, 9:25, I'm walking around the Little River track, and I'm just walking. And if you ever been to Little River, they have the field house there, and right next to the field house is the goalpost for the football games. So as I'm walking, I'm starting to see this white looking cloud that's square, and it's just it's perfectly square. It does not no weird circles on it. It's just square. And as I'm walking, and I'm noticing, and I'm like, it's not moving. I see a car will pass by, and when the reflection of the light, you can kind of see the edges to it. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, this thing has not moved. So I go keep on looking at it, and I take a picture of it, and I get closer, and as I get closer and get underneath it, it's gone. So I'm trying to take a picture of underneath it, but then my phone, when I click the camera, my phone will kick me out of the camera and go to the homepage. And it happened like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, what's going on? So I went back around again, and from a distance, it allowed me to take photos. So you could see the whole square, all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's so weird. And I'm just checking it out, and I really think of anything of it. I was just like, it's just weird. Okay, cool. Go back home, and I'm watching the late game, and I think it's like Indiana or something like that in the NBA playoffs, and I'm just watching them. And this starts at around 11 o'clock. So at 9:28, when the square had happened, and then now it's 11 o'clock. Between that time, I really don't remember so much because it was like almost like a blur now. But I'm laying in bed, and as I'm laying in bed, I felt this weird presence come into my house, and like I just felt like this rush of energy come into my living room, and it hits my hallway, and then I felt it come into the bedroom. Now as it hits the bedroom, I hear 3 beeps. It was just like beep, 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 and as soon as that third one hit, it was like, have you ever played Max Payne? And that bullet time goes, okay,
Right.
that's how it sounded and felt. So I'm watching the game, and then the game just slows down, and then it's just hazy, and then I hear this, and then it goes. When the day comes, it will happen quietly, like a whisper. Everyone will see revelation individually. The horns will blow only for them to hear. And then it goes beep, beep. And then the third one, it was like a blue light that hit me. And then it goes beep. And then time came back again. And it was still in the third quarter at 3 minutes. That was probably at least maybe a minute or so of that time, what it felt like. But then when I actually came back to, it was still at 3 minutes in the game to go. And I'm like,
Huh.
what in the world was this? And this all happened literally in the same day. Now, when I posted this story on my Facebook page, people were saying, "Oh, it was just SpaceX." I'm like, dude, it wasn't SpaceX because I checked out SpaceX when they actually launched, and they launched around 5 o'clock. What I seen happened at 9:30, and it was probably about 100 feet up in the sky, maybe even that. I was like, SpaceX doesn't come down that low, If there is, everybody's going to be out there with their cell phones, like, look at this, it's over here, because it's right here in an academy, and the academy is small, so there's
Right.
houses already all around that circle the football field. So that is what happened to me, and for some reason, it stayed with me. I have no idea what it was about or any of that.
It's like referencing Revelation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I was like, have
Yeah.
you Googled that statement? Like,
It's biblical.
anything. But like 3 years ago, I was doing a case in Round Rock, and there was a baby crying in the other room, and I'm just waiting for the baby to stop crying, and I'm sitting there, and the spirit box is going, and then it goes, "I have a secret," and it just comes out of nowhere. I have a secret. I was like, spirit box doesn't say sentences. It just says, "Hey, hi, demon," whatever the fuck it wants to say, but it goes, "I have a secret." I turn around and I look at it, and I was like, "What's the secret?" And it says, "Shh," and I'm like, "What's the secret?" And it says, "The Earth is fake." I was like, "The what? The Earth is fake?" And it was like, "Shh." And then it goes, "Rawr." And then it goes, "Doot, doot." And then it just goes back to white noise again. And I'm like, what in the world just happened?
all right. have you ever go ahead, Josh?
I was gonna say, have you considered at some point like getting all of these cases together and like writing a book, or maybe even doing? I could see this like being a Netflix series where each
right.
case is an episode, right?
Believe me, I've been trying to. I've worked with the Travel Channel before and stuff like that, and like I worked with a few film producers as well. And there was one time that I got burned on one, and that made me kind of hesitant to even try to put screenplay. So what we decided was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and write a book, which I got the title and everything, and it's still coming along, But I have like maybe
podcast even
7 of these, that I've looked into, and I'm reading and writing everything down, and which ones are the best ones for the first book, So I really want to get that out first, and then apply somebody to it, and maybe they can come up with something, because some of the stuff I've seen and heard and felt, it's been it's been crazy. It's been a crazy way.
Have you ever like lost friends or family members over because of what you do, and they think you're nuts?
Not family, but friends. I have
friends. I figured. I mean, it's got to be one of these things where you either do or you don't, right? Or you're just okay, sure, buddy. You know what I mean?
There's a couple of people that I actually went to high school with, and they know who I am, and they still send me messages. You're doing the devil's work. You're doing this. You're doing that. Why are you teaching our kids this? We've hosted lectures before at Toledo Public Library and here in Temple and stuff like that, and other little towns. And I get a message from somebody. You're doing the devil's work. You're teaching people this. I'm like, have you actually been to one of our lectures? We actually are telling you, don't do this, as opposed to, oh yeah, go do it, because a lot of people just don't understand. Yeah. Do something, you open doors, it's just, you don't know how to close them, and they don't have the education to understand what they're really doing, what they're invoking, what the power of their tongue is doing, because you can say something and something happens, and okay,
well, you didn't know anything until you listened to somebody or read it or saw it or whatever, right?
Yeah,
I mean, when it comes down to it,
yeah,
I mean, that's how we learn, right?
Exactly.
Right on. All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing all that with you, with us. I'm waiting for like your furniture line to come out or something. I don't know what else you got going on, or paranormal bar. That would be awesome. Let's partner up. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a building right now to open up. I'm not going to say which building. But
oh yeah, to do what exactly?
I can't say, but just
it's
along those lines. It's along those lines.
All right. Can you tell us what city? Is it going to be in Temple or?
Temple.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But I can't tell you. I can't tell you this part. If everything lines up for October, for the Malapalooza in October, I have a big collection of haunted items that I actually
neat.
on actual paranormal cases, that I'm going to bring to the Malapalooza to actually do a little show on it, but can't touch it. And you can't go over there and just put your arms on it, because a lot of the stuff that I do have is actually, that's for another show. But those things will harm you.
Oh, right on. All right. So you've been in touch with Cindy Alston and whatnot to be a part of Malapalooza. All right, cool. Yeah, we did that a couple of Malapalooza. The podcast isn't kind of the niche for what they're doing, but it was really cool. So you're like the perfect thing for that. So it'll be awesome. Yeah, yeah. Well, hey man, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Again, tell everybody where they can go to everything on your socials and whatnot.
Okay, so for my photography, it's John John Photos on Facebook and John John Photos 33 on Instagram. If you're into the paranormal, it's Dark Explorers Paranormal on YouTube and also on Facebook. And if you're an artist or want to do some kind of artwork or even volunteer for some of our events that I got coming up, just go to Artist Showcase on Facebook and send us a message. Give us a like and a follow.
Right on. All right, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again. As always, everybody, you can always go to randomnesspodcast.com to find everything randomness, and you'll find links to this on YouTube and all the platforms that we're on for audio. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank y'all.
We are gone.